Welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Kaitlyn Elford. I'm the owner and lead educator of Lost Artistry Lash. And on our channel, we really just dive into all things lash. So today we're gonna be chatting about flat lashes, what they are, who they're good for, how to use them, how to charge for them, and all that good stuff. But before we get in, just wanna say I'm drawing some inspiration from our classic lash manual. So flat lashes actually are a classic lash service. So I'm gonna be taking just a little peek at our classic manual. This is actually our online course, but I'm gonna be taking a little peek and showing you just a little bit about what we teach here at Lost Artistry. So if you're super interested in learning about all things lash, definitely hit the subscribe button, ring that bell so that you always get notified when we post new videos. And if you're unfamiliar with us, if this is our first time catching up, then check out our Instagram too. We post a lot on our YouTube channel, but also on our Instagram TV. So it's actually just at Lost Artistry Lash. Tons of exclusive video on there as well. So flat lashes are an extension of classic lashes. They're the exact same thing, but get this, this is really cool. They are a classic lash, but 40% less weight. So they're the perfect product for clients who, let's say, always want darker lashes, but you know that their natural lashes just can't really handle the weight of higher diameter classic lashes. So for that client, you can bump them up in diameter, give them more darkness, but with less the weight, because it is 40% less weight, which is pretty significant. So check out this image over here. You can see the difference between a flat lash and a classic lash. So the flat lash has a flat cross section, whereas a classic lash is like a perfect cylinder all the way around. So if you look at that cross section, it seems like half of the lash, 40% of it in fact, is actually missing. So you're using 40% less material when you're applying a flat lash, but they offer the same result as a classic lash. There are subtle differences though. For example, when you're placing your classic lash, you can apply the lash to the top, the bottom, or the side of the natural lash. With flat lashes, because of the shape, it's really more ideal to place on the bottom or the top. You can place it on the side, but you're not gonna get quite as good retention as you would from that classic lash. And there is something else that I really think is important to mention too, is if you say bump your diameter up for a client who has, let's say, really weak natural lashes. So an important thing to note about the flat lashes though is that application is a little bit different. So for classic lash, you can place your extension on the top, bottom, or either side of the natural lash. But since the flat lash has a very unique shape, you really want to focus on placing it on the bottom or the top of the lash. The side, it can work, but it's not as ideal as that cylinder shape when it comes to retention. So check this out. This is a really good thing to know about flat lashes as well. So let's look at this little drawing that I have here. When we have a client who has weaker natural lashes, just say that they have a thin diameter natural lash, something that would hold maybe like a 0.12 diameter classic lash. If we bump all the way up to say a 0.18 or 0.20 in a flat lash, then something else has to be taken into consideration outside of just weight. So although they weigh 40% less, we still want to factor in how wide that flat lash base is. So we still do have the same width at the base. So if we have a lash that's really fine in diameter, natural lash that is, and we use a really thick base, although we're not worried about the weight, we really still do have to factor in how wide it is, because if we brush through lashes that have a really wide-based extension on a thin natural lash, then there's potential for the mascara wand to actually hitch on those sides and pop the whole natural lash right out. We don't want to do that, of course. So there's always little things to take into consideration. But with that said, flat lashes can really even step in place of any classic lash service. Because if you think about it, if your client wants, say, the result of a 0.15 diameter classic lash, and you're using it in a flat lash instead of a classic lash, then why not eliminate that extra weight? And I mean, as a lash artist, our job is to keep our clients' lashes super healthy underneath the extensions. So if we can eliminate the weight, we may as well apply flat lashes. So take a look at this little graph here. We have our classic lashes and our flat lashes. So I'm just gonna run through with you the weight difference between them. So if we have a classic lash that is a 0.15 diameter, weight-wise, you can now go up to a 0.25 diameter flat lash. I'm not saying that you would want to, but you can go all the way up to a 0.25 in weight, which is crazy, right? Like you can achieve such darkness out of that. And then when we have a 0.12 classic lash, we could go all the way up to a 0.20 in a flat, and then 0.1s all the way up to a 0.15. So you can really jump up at least 1 diameter if you wanted to. And the cool thing about the cross section too is that it achieves a darker result. Just because of the flat base, it looks so much darker and really hides the light from coming in through the base of the lashes. So these are a great option for clients who want darker lashes. You know those clients who come in and they're like, hey, every single time I want darker, 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 and you're like, oh, should we move to volume? And they're like, no, I'd rather get classics. Perfect product for those clients. Also a good option if you have a client who wants more length, but not necessarily more density. You're eliminating the weight by adding more length. So it's a really good option for those clients too. But with any new product, there is a learning curve. So if you're wanting to try flats for the first time, just know that with any new product, and you probably already know this, but with any new product, it does take a little bit of a learning curve. So it may take you a couple times of trying it because of the flat cross section. It's a little different to apply them than it is to classics. Same technique, but it just may take a few little hand adjustments or just really getting used to something new. So a really good suggestion there is just to get a model in for your first set. Try it on a friend, try it on a family member for the first time, just so you can really get it down pat before you go into a live service. And then the last thing to know before I tell you about our exclusive offer is just that you want to be careful with direction when you're working with flat lashes. If you do have a client whose lashes are super wonky and all over the place, flat lashes are not going to be the best option. You can still mix them in with your set, but for the lashes that need a lot of direction, they're not going to be the right choice, because when you're working with direction, you're really placing on the side of the lash. So that's something that you want to for sure keep in mind. If you're looking for direction or client has really weak, like wonky natural lashes, stick to the classic lashes, the cylinder shape, for those lashes. But again, there's no reason why you can't mix them both together, add a little bit of darkness, less weight in with your regular classic set. And now it's time to talk about our exclusive offer. So here in Canada, we celebrate Boxing Day with sales. So Lost Artistry is no exception. We're gonna be having a Boxing Day sale on our website. That's gonna mean that mostly everything on our site is going to be 15% off. So if you are interested in trying something new, like flat lashes or just Lost Artistry in general, head onto our site on December 26th and you will notice that lots of stuff will be on sale.